Are you building muscle or are you just moving weight? And I'm not saying ego lifting or cheating or even just lifting heavy, even with bad form, doesn't build muscle. I do want to be clear here. Resistance is resistance, tension is tension, but are you getting the most out of your exercises in general? And again, understand that when it comes to even powerlifting, we should be building muscle for that. Again, I've competed a lot as a powerlifter, coach a lot of powerlifters, but keeping in mind your max lifts are not the same as your muscle building. Okay, so even in that context, we are obviously not doing a max deadlift or a max bench for the purpose of gaining muscle, and we understand that. But we also need to gain muscle in order to have the best possible, squat, bench, and deadlift. So if you watch just some of the stuff I'm doing here, I mean, perfect example. Look at the flat benching and the incline benching I'm doing here. Okay, you'll get guys all the time. They're like, I can't build a big chest with bench pressing. Like, what do you mean? Oh, I'm just different from. No, you're not. You're not different. The average guy struggles to build their chest with a bench, even though the bench press itself is one of the best chest exercises out there. Why? Why did your bench look anything like mine did there? Did you see me bouncing the weight off my chest? Did you see me stopping halfway down? No. What are we doing? We're going down into a stretch position, right? We are going down under control, very soft touch. You can pause also, right? Either one of those works. Barely touching the skin, and then coming back up. Okay. Notice also my wrists were stacked. Notice I have control of the weight, and I'm taking it through a deep stretch at the bottom. Right. That's more what we're concerned about. Not saying the lockout doesn't matter. It does, but again, getting that stretch is the most important. Right. We're putting the pectorals into tension, picking a grip that's wide enough that the pecs get stretched. Then doing that. Same thing, look at these rows here. A lot of times guys are like, I don't feel my lats on rows. Well, I'm doing the most probably arm dominant version of a bent over row you can do, yet still get a good lat pump. Why? What's going on? We're stretching at the bottom. We are making sure that on a row, when you are rowing, you need to make sure that you are not way upright when you get to the bottom, right? You need enough forward bend that your lats are working. Your scapula should come apart, right? So that we're actually stretching the lats. Whether you choose to use a cheat row, whether you choose to use body English, no matter what you're doing, it's the same. You need that stretch. The same thing. If you're going to jump on a machine or a lat pull down or whatever, and you're not spreading the scapula, you're not going to get great lat development. And it doesn't matter. Someone's like, but I saw this one pro bodybuilder who's still done it, but it's like, how much gear is he on, right? Like, I see Sam Salute doing that, but it's like, Sam Salute uses more gear than the average IFBB pro, so why would you care? It's very clear a lot of experts have critiqued his stuff. He doesn't really know what he's doing, so why are you watching that? Okay? You're not him. And that's the thing you have to remind people. When you watch someone who is extremely genetically gifted, and they're on a lot of stuff, don't assume that what they're doing is automatically perfect, right? If you try to emulate something they're doing that may be incorrect, or you're misunderstanding it, because you'll see a lot of bodybuilders, they are doing things with a good mind-muscle connection, and they do have a feel for their body. You think you're imitating them, but you're not. Okay? Context. And it doesn't mean that it's going to work for someone who is an average Joe. It may not. So you have to start looking at, are you actually working the muscles? Because if you are trying to stimulate muscle growth, you've got to be working the muscles. Okay? What does that mean? It means we need stretches. Not every exercise needs a contraction. And sometimes, yes, getting a good contraction at the top is important on some exercises, if it's an exercise that allows for that. Like a really wide grip pull-up like I'm doing here may not allow for that as well, but it allows for a hell of a stretch at the bottom. Okay? But, that's the thing. And I think what happens a lot of times, people go to the two extremes too far. And this is what ends up killing their ability to make gains. They either cheat so much if they don't work the muscles they want to work, right, to the degree that they would like. Or I've watched guys try to control eccentric reps and stuff so much that they don't even reach the bottom. And I've seen that a lot with rowing, by the way. Rows are notorious for that. I've watched guys try to do super slow eccentrics on rows, and then they stop short. You guys notice that? I've watched lifters do that. I've had clients come to me do that. And I'm like, well, this is why you don't feel your lats. Have you tried actually stretching all the way to the bottom? Quit trying to control it so much that you stop the bottom 20% of the exercise. Go ahead and lower the weight all the way down. Quit trying to do a 5-second negative. 1 second negative is fine. Like, there's never been any study to my knowledge that found that a 1 second negative doesn't maximize muscle growth. Anything more than about 4 seems to hurt it. Not my opinion. This is what 15-year-old studies were showing, right? So even if you're talking about an eccentric, look at the curls there. That's all you need. That is a controlled eccentric. 1 second. All right, same thing. People do curls, other stuff. What do you see them do all the time? They'll curl their wrists all the way up. They skip the bottom, and they curl their wrist, and then they get to the top. And so they unload the bicep at the top, and they never actually work the bicep at the bottom. They don't take it through the full range of motion at the bottom, and when they do come up, they also unload it. Because they'll place it into a spot where there's no tension at all. And I'm not saying you need continual tension, but again, guys, are you just moving weight, or are we trying to stimulate growth? And you need to think about that with stuff. And I'm not telling you not to train hard. I'm not telling you not to lift big weights. We obviously want to get stronger. Okay? We obviously want to get stronger. But even then, I'll even quote the powerlifting coach Louis Simmons. He's like, when it comes to your accessory work, hear him say that all the time, think like a bodybuilder. Again, one of the greatest powerlifting coaches in history, telling you when it comes to your accessory work, has to build muscle, think like a bodybuilder. He goes, get the most out of the exercise. Don't let the exercise get the most out of you. Okay? You see where we're going with that? We're trying to fatigue muscles. We're trying to stretch muscles. We're trying to contract muscles. We are trying to build muscle tissue. And it doesn't matter whether you're bodybuilding, then that's most of your training. Or even if you're powerlifting or a strength athlete, your non-heavy work and your non-speed work, still going to comprise more than half of your training is going to be the accessory work. You should be focused on building muscle, stimulating muscle, not moving weight. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.